All right, welcome back, folks, to WrestleRant. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews. All February long, we're breaking down every installment in WWE's No Way Out pay-per-view history as seen on the WWE Network, and today we're talking about No Way Out 2003. So, again, like I've talked about in past reviews of these past installments or the past few weeks, I've really been enjoying a lot of these No Way Out shows. You know, the February pay-per-views, as I've said time and time again, are by and large useless, or at least they have been for the last couple of years. Back then, they would set up WrestleMania storylines. They would have big-time matches. This show was stacked with them. We had Rock and Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin making his return, another Triple H Scott Steiner match for whatever reason, a great 2-on-3 handicap match. I'll get to it all pretty soon, but it was a pretty stacked show, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Just, kind of sum it up in a nutshell before we get started here. So the opening match, Jeff Hardy versus Chris Jericho in a match I didn't even know existed. I didn't even know this match happened. Jericho at this point in time was already feuding with Shawn Michaels. He had eliminated him from the Royal Rumble that year. And Michaels came out afterwards to help Jeff Hardy fend off Christian and Chris Jericho. So kind of great storyline progression there. But it was funny too. If there was any place to do that spot, it was not on this show because it emanated from Montreal where Michaels was obviously going to get booed. His first time in Montreal since his screw job 6 years earlier. So he got booed out of the building. Jericho got cheered because he's from Canada. So kind of a role reversal there, which was funny. But even the Jericho and Hardy match I thought was really, really good. And it's funny too because when I was thinking about it, these two, to my memory anyway, have never really had a true one-on-one rivalry. Like we saw the match a couple times in Jericho's second run of the company from 07 to 09 a few times. But other than that, I can't remember a real one-on-one feud. Maybe for the IC Championship at some point, like in 02 or something. But other than that, I can't think of a time they feuded. So it was cool to see them go one-on-one. They had a really good match. Jeff Hardy looked great in feet. And, Hardy at that time, he had the look. Not like he was as mega over as he was in 2008, 2009. But it seemed like he was really coming into his own as a single star. This was, not right after, but a little less than a year removed from when he got endorsed by Undertaker on Raw. Make Yourself Famous came in that great ladder match on Raw for the WWE title. And they really had the opportunity to make Hardy a great breakout star. I don't know if you blame WWE or him. I know he had a lot of drug issues still at that point, and he was getting suspended a lot. That's what led to his, downfall from the company. I think he wrestled maybe at Backlash or I'm pretty sure he was at Backlash and then got fired like right after that. Then he didn't come back until 2006 before, after a little run in TNA. But I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was good for what it was. Hardy and Jericho, good match. Jericho picks up the win. They furthered the feud between Michaels and Jericho afterwards. All around, great stuff. Really good way to open the show. After that, for the World Tag Team titles, Regal and Lance Storm taking on Kane and Rob Van Dam. In a decent little match. I didn't really see much in Regal and Storm as a tag team. RVD and Kane were kind of an on and off tag team at that point. And they wouldn't split until many months later. I forgot what they did at WrestleMania 19. There must have been like a tag team match or something like that. But this really wasn't anything too special. Regal and Storm retained, still tag team champions. So a fine match, nothing too good, nothing too bad. After that, for the Cruiserweight Championship, Matt Hardy contending for the gold against Billy Kidman. So it was funny, the pre-match promo, we had Matt Hardy talking about how he lost a lot of weight to get in the Cruiserweight division. He had to break the limit or, lose a lot of weight to get into the weight limit for the Cruiserweight division to take on Billy Kidman. Shannon Moore was with him at that time doing the whole MFer gimmick, and this was when Matt Hardy was great. He still is good. I mean, he's still one of my favorites, but you think of his runs when he was a breakout babyface in 2005 when they rehired him and stuff, but I feel like this run is very underrated. The MFer stuff, the V1er stuff I thought was just hilarious and comedy gold. This was no exception. Really good match between Hardy and Kidman. Hardy did a lot of great stuff as Cruiserweight Champion throughout 2003, so it was the right move to put the belt on him here. They had a fun little match. Hardy won the belt, setting up him and Mysterio for I think it was the opening match at WrestleMania 19, so a good match here and the right result by far. After that, Undertaker and Big Show going one-on-one in a match that I didn't need to see, but I guess I understand why it did, because Big Show attacked Taker in late 2002 when, Big Show was on his tear going after the WWE Championship. Taker came back in the Royal Rumble after getting eliminated by Brock Lesnar, so it was down to him. Him and Lesnar were the final two in that match. He lost. But then he went after Big Show, the same person who took him out many months earlier. So it was a logical feud to do. It didn't come out of nowhere. And I'm glad they did it on this show and didn't wait until WrestleMania. I mean, at WrestleMania, we would get Taker. And the original match was Taker and Nathan Jones against Big Show and A-Train, which sounds like total poop. And thankfully, Nathan Jones got hurt or whatever, and they pulled him from the match. so it became a handicap match, which wasn't that much better at all. This match wasn't good either. But at least it made sense from a storyline standpoint. A-Train got involved, and Taker still won anyway by forcing Big Show to tap out to a Hell's Gate-like maneuver. They wouldn't officially introduce as a finisher until like 5-6 years later. But anyway, it was what you would expect, Taker and Big Show. Again, I don't think they had feuded before this, though. Like a real one-on-one feud, a lot like Jericho and Hardy. I know they were tag team champions at one point. I don't know if they really feuded at any point in like the late 90s, early 2000s, which surprises me. You would think they would have fed Big Show to him a lot sooner than they did. But then why they did a rekindling of the rivalry many years later in 2008 is beyond me, because their chemistry sucked, as you would expect. I have no idea. But that was this match, and Taker won. After that, we had a 3-on-2 handicap match, where the WWE Champion Kurt Angle teaming with Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas as part of Team Angle, taking on Brock Lesnar and Chris Benoit. Edge was supposed to be their partner, but he got legitimately hurt. They filmed an Angle backstage at this show, saying he got attacked backstage. I don't know if it was ever revealed who attacked him. I don't think it ever really was. He wouldn't come back until a year later due to neck surgery. So by that point, it didn't even matter, because he was back on Raw, and he was, he had got drafted. So it was like a little, I think almost, 14 months later. It was a long time removed from when he initially got hurt. So he was out for a long time, and still, they made the most of it. I thought they would replace him with somebody or whatever, but they didn't. Lesnar and Benoit, they explained, or at least the commentators explained, that they wanted to go at it alone and take on, go up against the odds, which, in retrospect, I wish they would have given them a partner, because it wouldn't have made Team Angle look so weak. It was a great match. I thought they did really, really well. They could have even used more time than they did at 13 minutes. The same amount of time that, Triple H and Steiner did, which was ridiculous. But I thought this match could have even gone even longer than it did. This was right after Benoit and Angle had that amazing match for the WWE title, the Rumble. And then Lesnar was, en route to going after the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. So a really good match, really, really, very wrestling based, and all 5 guys played their roles well, had a great match. But again, I wish they would have been given a partner, Lesnar and Benoit, that is, just because Team Angle had just debuted, and having them lose clean in a 3-on-2 handicap match, which did not make them look very strong. And I know Haas got pinned and whatever, they were kind of schmucks at that time, Benjamin and Haas. But anyway, still, that's kind of nitpicking. But the match itself was really, really good. After that, for the World Heavyweight Championship, Triple H defending against Scott Steiner in the infamous rematch from the Rumble. Why they did another match between these two? Just because, I guess because Triple H got himself disqualified of the Rumble, so they had to do a rematch in storyline. But if the crowd reaction to the first one was any indication, I don't even know why they would have bothered to do another match, just because it sucked the first time. This match was not much better at all. We had Evolution interference causing Triple H to win, so Batista and Orton came down. I think Orton and Batista both got hurt right after this, so Evolution was put on hold for many more months. But the match itself was, as bad as you would expect, right on par with their Rumble outing, which was terrible. And I think Steiner was gone right after this. He was still with the company for another year, but I think he got hurt, and I don't know if he was at Mania. I don't think he was. I don't remember him being in a match at Mania, so he must have gotten hurt or something. So him, Batista, and Orton all got hurt right after this match. So the curse of the infamous match between Triple H and Scott Steiner. So still the World Heavyweight Champion, Triple H. After that, Stone Cold Steve Austin made his return to WWE for the first time since June of 2002 to take on longtime rival from WCW, Eric Bischoff, the boss himself. And Mr. McMahon, urged Bischoff to take Raw by the throat and boost ratings, kind of garner interest in the product. So he brought back Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he looked for him in bar after bar after bar, couldn't find him, leading to Austin's return on this show, his first appearance in many, many months, in less than a year. It really wasn't a match, obviously. Austin beat the shit out of Bischoff, hit him with 3 Stone Cold Stunners, and it was over. It was cool to see Austin back. The Canada crowd ate it all up, and it would lead to his final match at WrestleMania against The Rock. So it was kind of obvious at that point that Austin was limited in terms of what he could do. I don't think he wrestled many matches on Raw before Mania, before he ultimately retired. This was fun for what it was, not really a match per se, but more of an angle and a great way to introduce Austin back on the road to WrestleMania, with WrestleMania being right around the corner. And then we get to the main event, WrestleMania 18 rematch between The Rock and Hulk Hogan, Rock Hogan 2, it was promoted as Sylvain Grenier as the special guest referee. Now, they didn't make a big deal about it beforehand. It was only afterwards that I realized it was Sylvain Grenier, the future member of the La Resistance group. And this took place in Montreal, so you had to know a Montreal Screwjob was coming. The match itself was not really that good. I enjoyed it just because it was Rock and Hogan, and Rock was so fucking great as the heel this time, coming back as the Hollywood asshole, the bullshitter. That Rock was great. Hollywood Rock was amazing. The match itself was really not that good. And they got lucky. They got really, really lucky, because anywhere else this match would have been even worse. But because it took place in Canada again, a lot like it did the first time around in Toronto at WrestleMania 18, they got lucky this one took place in Montreal. And the Canada crowd was out for the match, because anywhere else it probably would have died a death. So anyway, the match happened. That's basically all I can really say about it, because it really wasn't, from an in-ring standpoint, it wasn't good. But from an entertainment standpoint, I enjoyed it. So anyway, the lights go out. We don't know what's going on. Vince McMahon comes out. He's like, "Oh, what happened? What happened?" And then I think Hogan gets laid out, or someone gets laid out. And then the referee who gets laid out, who's down on the ground, slips Rock a chair, hits Hogan with it, and then pins him for the 1-2-3. Sylvain Grenier makes the 1-2-3 count. And it's ultimately revealed that he was in cahoots with Rock and McMahon the whole time. Again, Montreal Screwjob Part 2. I can name at least 5 Montreal Screwjobs, 5 Screwjob finishes that we have had in wrestling in the last 15, 20 years. It's ridiculous. We had the original, the one in 98. This one, we had the one in 09 Breaking Point in Montreal. We even had one in fucking TNA, right around the Monday Night War started, or the Second Coming, or whatever they called it, when it was Raw and Impact on Raw, or on Monday nights rather, in early 2010. They did one with AJ and Kurt Angle, which was so stupid. But anyway, this match happened. It set up, Hogan and Vince for WrestleMania. Rock would go on to face Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was good to give him a win before he would beat Austin. He beat Hogan. He beat Austin. He would go up against Goldberg at Backlash. So the debut in Goldberg. So Rock had a pretty great run. These matches weren't amazing, but all of his matches, this one with Hogan, the one with Austin, and the one with Goldberg, were all very entertaining. So he came back with a purpose and had 3, back-to-back really fun matches. But as far as this match goes, really wasn't anything that special. Like I said, set up Vince and Hogan for Mania, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I don't know about anyone else. I mean, again, I talked about this in my WrestleMania 19 review, but that far exceeded my expectations in terms of being, again, not a great wrestling match, but from an entertainment standpoint and feeling like a real personal rivalry. That's exactly what it felt like, and I thought it captured that perfectly. So I thought that was a great match, honestly. One of the better matches of WrestleMania 19, which is saying something. That was a stacked show. But No Way Out 2003, I give it a thumbs up. I really enjoyed this show. Not every match was a home run. There really wasn't a match that I would say, like, oh, that was amazing. Other than the 2-on-3 handicap match is the one match I would say be sure to check that out. But every other match I thought was pretty good. Jericho and Hardy was a very good opener. Regal and Storm versus Kane and RVD was good for what it was. Big Show and Taker, fine for what it was. It set up for something for WrestleMania. Not good, but it served the purpose. Hardy and Kidman, title change, pretty good match, fun match. Handicap match, like I said, was very, very good. If there's any one match from the show to check out, it's that one. Triple H and Steiner was not good, but at least they wrapped up the feud, so whatever. And they also planted the seeds, further for Revolution. Stone Cold Steve Austin making his return to WWE was fun. Taking on Bischoff, and the main event was what it was. Again, setting up something for WrestleMania. So like I said in my 02 review of No Way Out, these February pay-per-views should be setting up storylines for WrestleMania. That's exactly what the purpose they succeeded in doing in the early installments of this show. They would not do that in recent years with Fastlane or Elimination Chamber, because around this time every year you start to get your WrestleMania plans clearer and clearer. But in recent years, we really haven't had that. Like Reigns beats, Daniel Bryan. Okay, what's next for Daniel Bryan? Stuff like that. Like we don't really get a clear direction what's next for Mania at these pay-per-views. Nowadays, back then it served the purpose. That's when nowadays I said we don't need any February pay-per-views because they're completely meaningless. But at least back then, they served the purpose. They had big-time pay-per-views. They weren't throwaway pay-per-views. On this show, we had Rock and Hogan. The year before that, it was Rock and Undertaker, Triple H and Kurt Angle. So we've had a lot of great matches at these shows over the years. This was no exception. So, thoroughly enjoyed the show. I thought it was a pretty good show. Be sure to check it out on the WWE Network, No Way Out 2003. I'll be back on Saturday with my review of No Way Out 2004, featuring Eddie Guerrero's very emotional WWE Championship win. But until then, you can check me out on Twitter. Follow me there at WrestleRant. Follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/Graham.gsm.Matthews. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. All support is greatly appreciated. Like I said, Saturday, No Way Out 04. Check it out. You guys are awesome. Thank you for watching and listening. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch you folks down the road.